What are you saying? Welcome back to another episode of SizWhippin. You join me on the inside of the car today, which is a bit of a change from how I normally start presenting videos, but it is absolutely chucking it outside. And yeah, I just don't want to get wet. But today, what I got for you is a 2020 Jaguar E-Pace D180 all-wheel drive. Let me show you what it's about. So like I said, because it's absolutely just raining and raining outside, I thought I would change up the order in which I normally shoot, just so that I could try keep somewhat dry. But yeah, match the interior talk with the driving all in this one video. So let's get ready and go. Jaguar and Land Rover are a joint company essentially, where they share a lot of the same internals, same kind of leathers, infotainment system, but a theme has not stopped at all when it comes to the E-Pace. It is a very nice place to be though, I will say that. I like the curves of how everything is shaped towards the driver, even nice little grab handles here, and just Jaguar have done a very good job of the interior of this compared to the F-Pace. But as we know, the F-Pace is being phased out. There's a new model coming. But this just seems a lot more up to date. As I mentioned before, the exterior is finished in KCM blue. This has got a black interior and it's got contrasting blue stitching as well. I'm a big fan of contrast stitching in a car, especially if you can match it somewhat to the exterior of the car. I think it makes the car feel a lot more special, even if really it isn't that special. But it's really cool nonetheless. The rear seating at the back is quite decent. Again, someone of my size can fit in the back. Yes, your headspace is definitely compromised compared to being in an F-Pace for sure, but I think personally that this car is definitely lining up and more similar to the new Range Rover Evoque, in its size, its engines, its capacity. And I guess that's a really interesting question there, because essentially they are the same product, but which one are you going for, you know? Is it the Range Rover name that's going to really weigh you over, or are you going to have the unorthodox choice and go for the Jaguar? I mean, I think during this video we're going to find out more why I would go for perhaps the Jaguar over the Range Rover Evoque. The infotainment system is something that you're going to find in all Jaguars, and you'll find in a lot of Land Rover products as well. Obviously, them being a joint company, you're going to see the same technology shared across everywhere. The infotainment system is okay. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto, so very useful for that, but it is wired, not wireless, whereas BMW and other brands now, they do wireless for CarPlay and Android Auto. So Jaguar, Land Rover, catch up a bit. On this car, unfortunately, there is no digital, virtual cockpit. It is just a traditional analog with an LCD screen, which, I mean, you can upgrade. It is an option that you can upgrade for it. I think it's like a 800 or no, it's a £600 option, but I would expect that now to be a standard across the Jaguar Land Rover lineup. I would expect that to be standard now. This analog here is just, it doesn't look nice, if I'm honest with you. So if you are in the market for this, my one thing I'd say, make sure you get the virtual cockpit, 100%. This makes it feel dated. It makes it feel like I'm driving a 2014 car rather than driving a 2020 car. Do you know what I mean? Car is quite practical for a family as well. Even if you do have a dog, the boot has a 577 litre capacity, which is decent. It's not absolutely massive, it's not class leading, but it is still very sufficient and it's good. Also make sure that you get an electric tailgate with this car, because again, it is 2020. This car does not have one. It's not dear to add it, but it's just annoying that it doesn't come as standard. I think that's my theme here. There's a lot of things that you would expect to be standard, and I'd rather they just build that into the price. But you know, I guess maybe I complain too much. Maybe I'm a bit too finicky on things, but it is what it is. Yo people, so I'm going to take you around the E-Pace. It's finished in KCM blue, which I think looks really good on it. It's such a nice metallic blue. Don't know if the camera is picking up well here, and obviously it is raining, so you don't get the best impressions. But yesterday when I picked up this car in the dry, I like the look of it a lot. It really, the Cassian blue is a very good finish on it, especially the red as well, that you can also option with. But the majority of people will probably get this in your standard greys and blacks. But if you're feeling a bit brave, definitely get the Cassian blue. This is the D180. The Jaguar E-Pace is the entry-level model into the Jaguar brand, and is actually the cheapest of the 7 models that they do. Funny enough, now Jaguar actually produced 3 SUVs with the E-Pace, F-Pace and the all-electric I-Pace, 3 sedans with the XE, XF and the XJ, and then their sole sports car with the F-Type. Which you can say 15 years ago, people would never really thought that almost half of the lineup of Jaguar models would now be SUVs. But here we are today. And let me say, I think they're doing really well at it. You get the Jaguar E-Pace in 6 different engines, all 2-litre turbocharged engines, where you, 3 diesels and 3 petrols. You get the D150, 150 horsepower. You get the D180, 180 horsepower, and you get the D240, 240 horsepower, all 3 of those being diesel engines. You then get petrol P200, P250, and P300, all with the same 2-litre engine. Now, for me, if we're talking about styling, I think that this is Jaguar's best SUV that they do. I definitely think it's better than the F-Pace, for sure. One of the reasons why I think that is definitely with the headlights. You can see that they definitely have been taken off, maybe we could say, or imagined by the old F-Type with those front headlights there, which I think would look really cool on this Jaguar and really set it off compared to the ones you get on the F-Pace. I mean, yes, the F-Pace is still nice, but I still think that the E-Pace just looks a lot better. I like the way that they've done this concave grille. That looks really cool. This is the D180 automatic or 4-wheel drive R dynamic. The E-Pace in general starts from £30,000, but this one here sitting on the road is at £41,000. So this has got a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine producing 180 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. In the low down in the gears and the low range, this definitely packs a bit of a punch. It definitely packs a bit of a punch, and it is very nippy around town. But then carrying on to the back here, we can see that this is just a bit of a smaller F-Pace. The back is almost identical. You can see they've done with twin exhausts at the back here, which is cool. But if you actually have a look closely, you see that this outer ring here, that's actually not part of the exhaust. The exhaust is actually coming in from there, if you can see. So it's just plastic trimming, really, as you can see here. And it works well for the car. It does work well for the car. But I just wish they were real exhausts. But again, this is just an entry-level car. It's not really going to be a sports performance car. Let's take you into the interior of this car and show you what it's about inside. Now, getting onto the driving of this car, as I mentioned, there are 6 different variations of a 2-litre turbocharged engine in here for the E-Pace. 3 petrols, 3 diesels. I am in the mid-level diesel engine, the D180 with 180 horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 7.6 seconds. And it's very punchy in the low end. So just when you're cruising around town, when you're needing to beat someone off the traffic lights, it's got a lot of punch. It does. You can definitely feel the torque lower down. I must say that this car is an absolute dream to drive. It's so comfortable, man. I was really surprised at how, I'm not really that surprised, but I am still surprised at how I prefer this car, especially over the Mercedes GLE I just drove the other day. Do you know what? This Jaguar is a lot more comfortable than than a lot of what Mercedes-Benz has to offer, and that's a really harsh statement to say, you know. And Mercedes, if you hear this, doesn't mean I ever want to not work with you, so please holla at your boy. But it has to be said, the Jaguar is very comfortable at low speeds, on the motorway, everyday type of living. The suspension on here is set up so well, and I'm just so pleasantly surprised about how comfortable it is. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't expect less from Jaguar, should I? Well, as performance and comfortability, we also worry about what the fuel economy in a car like this would be. So I've driven this car on both country lanes and on motorways now for the past weekend that I've had it, and I have been averaging, well, I know that right now I'm averaging 29 miles per gallon on a diesel. That's now been driven in the country lanes. But I did see the highest figure I saw last night when I was driving back from London was 41.5 miles per gallon, which is at the top end of what this car is rated to do, even though a combined total should be around 39 mpg, which for a mini SUV is okay. It's okay, it's good. It's not amazing, it's good. It's more of a quite standard now, as you'd expect across anywhere you would see, really. But going back to that little conversation that I just started when it came to comparing this car to the Range Rover Evoque, I'm gonna tell you why I personally would pick this car over the Evoque. One, the styling. In my personal opinion, I feel that this looks a lot sleeker and a lot more sporty, especially with that front end, which I think is inspired from the old F-Type. Its curves are just a lot more forgiving and enticing, and you know, just, I don't want to use the word beautiful. I don't want to describe this as a beautiful car. I normally reserve that for sports cars, but it is a very good looking little car, little SUV, you know. I think it looks better than the Evoque. And my issue with the Range Rover Evoque is I don't like the fact that it's got the Range Rover name. Personally, I think that should just be the Land Rover Evoque. That should have replaced the old Freelander. I think that's where that car would really slot in. But obviously for marketing, I completely see why they named it the Range Rover Evoque. It's done really well for them. The Evoque is one of their highest selling cars. So, you know, my personal opinion and marketing and business strategy may not go well there together, but that's just my opinion. So I've never really liked the Evoque for that reason, because I'm just like, you're not a real Range Rover. Why are you trying to pretend to be a Range Rover? Whereas this Jaguar, it's not pretending to be anything. It is a Jaguar. It is a Jaguar. It has its own look, its own personality in a way, and it works. It works really well. I feel like this is a lot more understated as well. There's this whole thing about Range Rover Evoque drivers, and it's not a positive connotation to have. Whereas I think with this Jaguar E-Pace, it will be completely different. It's just like, yeah, I drive a Jag, and what? You know, I'm not trying to be anything. I just want a very nice, comfortable car that still has got that really cool British name, Jaguar. You know, so I would personally go for this car, and it also being cheaper as well, for basically the same car. What are my conclusions on the Jaguar E-Pace? I think it's a car that you seriously, if you're in the market for a mini SUV with great value for money, a comfortable ride, decent choice in engines, and really cool looks, this is a car that you must seriously consider. Would I use the word you should buy it? 50-50. I think it depends what else is in your range that you are looking for. I mean, if you're looking at an Audi Q3, you're looking at a BMW X2, Range Rover Evoque, I guess it depends on your personality and what suits better to you, but I hardly see how anything really is going to beat this out in the right spec, the right engine, and at the right price. This car, the Jaguar E-Pace, is a fantastic Jaguar. Well done to them, and let's see what happens with these cars, because I like it. I really like it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. As I told you, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers as soon as I can, because you know, you got to make things in small goals. Like, I love for the support. Thanks for rocking with me. Continue to do so. Share it with your friends. And this vlog is done and out. I'm going to bed. Peace.